Good day, everybody. Welcome to our little game we like to call Diet D&D. And I'm going to go ahead and sneak peek this. Yes, we are in fact recording this time, so huzzah for that. But with that, welcome to the beginning of Season 6. As always, I will be your Dungeon Master. I am Artificial, and with me, as per usual, is our player Daniel, playing Elrik.
Hello.
Alright, last we left off, Elric, Ophelia, and even the Beat Knight, among a few other of the local victors group, managed to all escape a dungeon bubble in the Sea of Aphon with treasures of plunder. Um, Ophelia took the Beat Knight back to the local, I guess would be considered base of the victors, the Boars Wood settlement, more commonly known as the settlement, and you decided to walk.
Yes.
Upon arriving back, you were eagerly met at the gate by a local merchant named Cal Amory that you are somewhat familiar with. You've seen him about the place, though you do not visit Boars Woods often. But he expressed that he would like to procure you for a local heist he wanted to see about doing. You expressed your possible interest and said you would need some time. He expressed to you to meet him, bring whoever you would like to be interested in. He expressed that the Beat Knight wanted to as well. Cal said, or informed you, whenever next time you stop by, meet him in the local bar. It's been about a week or so. You've had time to be yourself, wander about, do as you please, and sell some of your goods, so you've racked up some money for whatever you'd like. Um, and it's just about that time you decided to just kind of wander back and maybe see what all this was about. As you do know Cal to be someone to really make good on his deals. He does pay well, but he unfortunately is that person who always forgets that one little crucial detail.
He's he'll give you all the information, but he is prone to omitting like the danger aspect of it.
In a way, certainly. So we'll say it is about early morning, not quite dawn, but still early morning, and you begin to arrive along the Boars Wood settlement, which is essentially a glorified shanty town made out of ruins, an unnamed ruins just off of the uh, eastern coast of the Six Cities. And I easily have you entering at this western gate. There is a southern gate, and several holes in the walls from possible wars in times past, unless you would like another access point. I've just thrown your token down.
No, that should be just fine.
Alright, the only thing you are aware of is that you were supposed to meet Cal at the local um, tavern, which you know the location of. You've walked by a few times before, but have never actually been in. And you are to meet up with the Beat Knight first. He expressed he was going to try and set up a little location himself up to the far north, pretty much in the northwest corner, like the end of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, feel free to take it away.
All right. I would like to most certainly head into town for one.
Alright, the gigantic wooden doors, these are fortified wooden doors. The gates themselves stand just as expected, like a fortified castle, but they are just eagerly open. There are no guards or anyone posted about.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you walk in, you are met with the familiar, somewhat hustle and bustle of this somewhat relaxed uh, settlement. As basically this is the local victors hangout, the place for the merchants, the thieves, the assassins, all the money makers that seem to wander through, the mercenaries, the job hunters, and such like.
Okay. You said I should head north towards the Beat Knight.
The Beat Knight expressed that he was going to try to set up shop pretty much exactly to the far northwest corner, which
Right.
would be to your extreme left, currently.
Well, I think that's my best option to go.
Alright.
Do I pass anyone along the way?
You pass a few people, no one you really recognize. A few people, they're not cloaked or shrouded, but they are certainly dolled up as any adventurer would be. No one of real
Right.
importance. Pass by a few little settlement marketplaces and stop right there for me. Go ahead
Okay.
and roll me. What is your standard perception, if you would?
My standard perception is 13.
All right. From right here, you can already see peeking around the corner. You're still a distance off, but you can see. Excuse me. You begin to see the end of what would be the northern end of the settlement, where the pretty much the handmade docks have been. There are a few boats you can see uh, parked about. No, ships of any kind, small boats, as this is not a very. This would be looked upon by most of the world as kind of a seedy or a shady settlement,
Mm-hmm.
a place where the common thieves and assassins would go. So it's not really a popular place.
It's essentially a medieval Mos Eisley.
Yes, certainly. Um, Along this far wall, past one of these booths, you see a large tree. Looks like a freshly leaved tree. It is just about the end of spring right now. A very large tree on the edge of a looks like a freshly tilled patch of ground, like someone is trying to create a farm. There's a look like a handmade tent set up, like someone is just claiming this spot here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll. Just go ahead and roll standard perception for me, if you would.
Uh, 1.
One. All right. The wind has kicked up a bit, and the sand from the roads have kind of just got all in your eyes right now. Want to go ahead and roll again?
Yeah.
Yeah. It has been a while since you've been here.
Yeah, there we go, 18. That's better.
Right. From this
I
position
see how it's
here,
going to be today.
you can see in this very fresh blooming tree there are beet-colored bits of armor hanging on various branches as if someone were hanging their clothes out to dry. And you see, not the full details, but you could see a gentleman rowing up this freshly tilled earth, and he is only in pantaloons. He is rowing up a garden, and what you can pretty much almost exactly presume would be the Beat Knight's armor hanging about the various tree limbs.
I approach and call out, friend or foe?
Stop right there for me. You still can't make out the face, but the figure does look up and gives you a heartily wave, as a friend would. But
Yes.
before you can do anything else, around the corner comes a street vendor, I would say. A man dressed as somewhat of a merchant who has this large basket holding out, and he's shouting out, for the local auction is about to begin. And he immediately runs into you, practically blocking your view from this farming man. And he is kind of startled as he almost runs into you, running around this corner here. Oh, yes, sir. Are you participating in the auction here? He quickly asks you.
I don't normally enjoy auctions. What are your key selling points today?
Ah, you're new, he says. He says, we do this, every couple of weeks or so. Every victor who has proclaimed something, inquired and gotten any cool treasure, anything of value, will decide, if they do not want it, to cart it here on a certain day, and we dump the entire lot in the local town square, and an auction goes up. He rumbles around in this basket he is holding. You can see it's full of these little wooden tokens with numbers etched onto them. He holds one up to you. He says, you'll take a token, and they'll call out 3 numbers. Each number will basically have to bid on the item. The price will be sold to the highest bidder, or whoever does not opt out between the 3. The item will be given out, and the excess, or the losing bids, will put their, bids into the pot, and at the end, the entire hoard of whatever the lost bids were go out, split between 3 more people.
That sounds oddly exciting.
He says it's always it's wonderful all the same. The only gimmick is it's kind of a forced bet. Like you have to really only, if you are called to bet, you have to bet something. But there's no reason you can't opt out of anything if you're, good enough. He kind of winks and gives you a good nudge. He says, "But I saw today they've got some pretty neat things. They've got someone's grabbed a whole throne, an entire throne." This man is expressing this to you like you wouldn't know what a throne is.
Well, I don't see why not.
He gladly holds out his basket and says, "Here, take a number."
I stick my hand in and reach for the bottom, hoping to get a number that no one would call, because I don't like attention.
Okay. You get a 7.
That's a number people would normally call. Okay, great.
He kind of hovers an arm around your shoulder and kind of guides you, leading you towards the auction. Do you follow?
I follow.
All right. I'm gonna drag you.
Yeah, I do a quick hustled wave at the beat knight, presumed beat knight.
The farmer guy does the other heartily wave and goes back to farming. You are rushed over to this crowd. You're going to be right here, okay?
Okay.
Imagine you're in a crowd. This is completely full of people. People even just looks like what you would expect bystanders have gathered around. This would be the center of attention. As you are met with this huge pile of gold, a dragon's hoard of gold worth of just treasures galore, oddities and items. In the middle of it is a large, very expensive looking chest with a man standing atop, and several guards stood about. There are carts placed about. It literally was like this merchant is explaining to you. People have just carted in all their treasures and dumped it here.
Well, interesting.
You can see immediately several people around you are kind of holding these little wooden tokens up where you can see them. But at this point, do as you please.
Do I have... No, not do I have. How close can I get to look at what they have for auction?
You're about 3 or 4 people back. You wouldn't believe... I mean, you could easily push up to the front to get a better view if you'd like. Or if you just want to stand there and kind of crane around and see what you can see from your spot, whatever you want.
I'd rather try and crane around and see what I can see.
Roll perception for me. See what you can gather.
Yeah, we'll see how well that went last time. I got an 11.
Okay. You're obviously 3 or 4 people back, and there are a few guards kind of blocking some vantage points here. You expect they would be about, so no one's just turns into a free-for-all for this huge pile of treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Among this literal pile of treasure, a few things you can kind of see sticking out. There is, in fact, a large silver throne just kind of jutting out from amidst this pile of treasure. There are 2 silver statues kind of leaning to the side just behind the throne. There are a few, appear to be sword scabbards, and even something like a longbow kind of jutting out from the pile. Other than that, that's all you can really see right now. As well, you can obviously see this gentleman standing on the large box in the midst of the pile. He is...
Right.
Seems to be a human, pretty young-ish. He is... got this large shoulder mantelpiece on, which looks to have several bags hanging off of this shoulder piece, which you can easily identify would be bags of holding. He's also holding up a large ceremonial glaive and a large axe that you would expect from the look of it would be used for something like beheading by the shape, but it certainly looks more ornate and less used now.
Like an executioner's sword.
It's more of an axe, but yes.
Well,
It looks not to be used. It looks to be ceremonial now.
okay.
This fellow on the box will rise up in front of the crowd and shout out that he is the auctioneer for the auction today. The crowd will cheer in response. He will procure one of the guards. I'm using procure a lot today for some reason. I'm not even using it correctly. One of the guards will come over with a large basket, similar to the merchant had, and supply it to this auctioneer, who puts it at his feet. He will rally the hype again to announce he's beginning the auction. That all states the same. 3 numbers will be picked. A die will be rolled. Each person will roll a die. With that being said, a few more merchants are kind of weeding through the crowd and handing out dice to everybody. Do you take?
Okay. I take.
This is common 6-sided die. They all appear to be same, just the standard, looks like a wooden die with the notches cut into it.
Right. Dots or numbers?
Dots. The die will be rolled and the first bid will be cast. Bidding between the 3 tokens will continue as needed. He rallies the hype again. Who's ready to start the auction? The crowd will rise up and cheer again. He will reach down to begin to dig for numbers. Do you do anything before we actually start this?
I just want to roll the dice in my hand a little bit to see if it's prone to landing on any particular number.
Okay, you kind of toss it about. It does not appear to be weighted or tricked by any means.
Okay.
Unless you want to roll a perception to further check that.
I would like to.
Certainly.
12.
Yes, you believe this is just a common die.
Excellent.
First up, you'll see some of the guards, 2 of them, begin to start rooting around the pile of treasure and start picking up items. The first items are held up. 2 swords. One appeared to have properties of ice, and one that appears to be of a holy nature. 3 numbers are picked. 6, 4, and 18. You see the respective people hold up their tokens, and they all will respectively roll their dice, as everyone kind of turns their attention to the nearest person with the selected token, as expected. And they will bid their respective dice roll in copper, and begin a bidding. One of them will opt out, the other 2 will bid and get up to about 10, 13, 15, and start climbing on the bids. Are you instinctively paying attention, or are you just kind of... What are you doing right now, Elrik?
I am most certainly paying attention because the rules are foreign to me.
Alright. They get up to about, 20 or 23 so copper, and one of them just decides that he's had enough. And the 2 swords are handed over to the gentleman with the 20 copper bid, as he throws this 20 copper into this treasure pile up front, and eagerly runs off with his newly acquired swords.
2 swords for only 20 copper. That's quite impressive.
Do you say that aloud?
No. I'm just musing to myself.
Another guard will hold up as the auctioneer begins the next item. A bow. They pull a purple bow, this one here, out from the piles of gold. I'm just going to say gold in lieu of treasure. You know what it is. It appears to be elven in nature, but it is only the bow. It appears to have... It is very colorful, as purple has even blue markings about it. Numbers are rolled. 8, 1, and 5. Attention will turn to the 3. The dice are rolled. All 3 of them seem very displeased at their rolls, and no one is seeming to wanting to start a bid war. No one is really seems to be that interested in this bow, and will end up being taken away by one person for only about 6 copper. He will reluctantly take it, strap it over his shoulder, and stand in the crowd. That person will be right about here, about 3 people between you and that individual.
Okay.
Next up, a large box of gems and jewelry. Just looks like a small wooden chest, not a treasure chest, but a wooden box that has just been filled with just particular gems and looks like some jewelry. Numbers are pulled. 5 again, 13, and 7. Your number is called.
Alright.
You are to roll the dice. Roll the d6.
6.
You could even do that in chat like an actual roll if you would like. I don't believe you've got the 3D dice turned on if that's what you wanted. Just making note. Do as you please.
Then...
But at this point you will have to throw in 6 copper. You are bidding 6 copper against 2, and someone matches your 6. So at this point the person with 2 now opts out, and you are in bid with the person over here, in this direction, with 6 copper against this box of jewels.
Just for the sake of showing everyone, I'm going to use the virtual dice.
Not forcing you, just saying you
No,
normally have that up.
It's so people can see it.
Fair enough.
This has to do with money. People need proof.
What do you bid? You have to make a bid as you have now matched. How much more do you bid? We're at 6 right now.
I bid 4 more.
All right.
Make it an even 10.
It is up to 10. He will go up to 11.
What did you say this was again? It was a box of assorted.
As of right
stuff.
now, it's a wooden box. It is. You can see it is obviously full of various gemstones and looks like a few pieces of jewelry like necklaces.
Well, individually, those could sell for a lot more, so I want to bump it up to... I'm just going to one-up him. 12.
He jumps to 15.
Then I jump to 30.
He lets you have it.
Excellent.
You lose 30 copper, but you gain this box of various gems and jewelry.
Which could, in very much, sell for a lot more. And the conversion was,
10 copper to 1 silver, so that was essentially 3 silver you lost.
3 silver, so now... Got it, okay.
You'll have to put that in the pile. Do you worm your way up to the front and dump it in?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, you're up here unless you want to go back to your spot. You are given this box by one of the guards.
97... Okay, yeah.
Alright. Up next is looks like 2 iron helmets. Not your number, not your number, not your number. And I'll go for the next one already. Not your number, not your number, not your number, and not your number. Unless you want to instinctively keep track of where these go or what they sell for, I'm going to skedaddle past them unless it's your number.
While this is going on, I want to walk over to the guy who's got the bow and ask if he'd be willing to part with it for 3 gold.
He will eagerly accept that and take 3 gold for that bow.
Because that is exceedingly more than he paid for.
But as you were looking at it, you do not expect this bow to be worth as much as 3 gold, so...
I don't care. It's an ornamental bow.
Fair
It
enough.
looks nice.
Stop me at any point to do anything about this. The items that you are not directly a part of.
Well, I don't even know what the items are, so...
Well,
I can't stop you.
We just gave away 2 silver helmets.
Right.
Next up is what appears to be a large gilded chest plate.
Nope.
3, 16, and 14. That goes to someone in the crowd. Now we have 4 pairs of matching leather gauntlets. 6, 1, 14. There you go. three medium wooden chests that are all opened and completely are filled with diamonds. Straight diamonds.
That's impressive.
The crowd does go in awe as 16, 9, and 8 are called. The bidding on this one gets very impressive and get all the way up to about 20 gold before someone opts out. And the 3 diamond boxes go to the person with 20 gold. He opts out quickly, gathers some friends you can see, and they make off with these 3 boxes of diamonds.
Now that's... Do people applaud at that? Because I would applaud.
Certainly, the crowd is astonished and hears all around for that one. A few people from the crowd actively abandon the auction, going after the people with the now procured diamonds.
Good. Less people.
An egg. An egg about the size, a little bit larger, I guess what will be an ostrich egg. In our standards. Basketball, a little bit larger.
Okay.
A multicolored egg. It's procured. Procured. Why do I like that word right now? I'm not even using it right. 20, 6, and 7. Your number is called.
Excellent. There we go. 4.
Against 1 and 4, you are met again.
Okay.
He will immediately jump up to 5, taking the first bid.
Then I will go to 6.
This person is not too far from you and expresses you can have it. Not very excited about an egg.
It's the fox in me. I like shiny things. I like collecting
You are given this large
nice
egg.
things. Okay.
Two very interesting looking pendants, medallions almost. Against a 5, a 12, and an 8. They go off relatively quickly. A set of pots and urns. About a set of about 5 or 6. Against a 5, a 13, and a 9. They go off relatively quickly. A gaggle of books. About 7 or 8 large, thick books. A 7, a 16, and a 3.
Alright.
You have a 2 and a 5. What do you have?
1.
Alright, you are opt out. You cannot get these books.
That's unfortunate.
2 large, what appear to be sorcerer or wizard staffs. Go up for a 13, a 1, and that landed on the corner, but I'll give that as a 7.
Alright, what have I got? 2.
1 and a 6. Alright, you and the person with the 6, you will have to match 6 if you want to continue.
Can I try and perceive anything about the wizard staffs?
Certainly. Roll a perception.
Nat 20.
They are legit. These would be magical divining staffs, like Walkus has. These would be...
Walkus? Who's Walkus?
I'm metagaming right now for you.
I know.
These are legit staffs. These would have magic in them. They do not have any crystals or anything, but they are obvious magical staffs of some kind. They appear to be made out of fine stone.
Okay. Well, I will match 6 and just see how this plays out.
7.
8.
10.
12.
female. She really wants these staffs. She'll immediately jump to 30. This is copper,
I'll
by the
pass.
way.
I'm sorry, what?
This is copper, by the way.
Yes.
You're not jumping past 30?
Nah, I'll let her have him.
She will take them.
I don't use magic, but I collect things.
2 very worn flags that are unidentifiable, but are worn with age. 17, 19, and an 18. They go relatively quickly. A large tapestry, a rug-ish piece, is pulled from amidst the treasure. With a 5, 10, and a 15. Goes pretty quickly. Some various odds and outs of clothing articles. Some just looks like common clothing, common wear, nothing important at all. It's to 10, a 13, and a 15. It goes pretty quick. Alas, finally the throne is mentioned. A large silver gilded throne. Takes about 4 guards to wrestle up from this pile. Against a 16, a 14, and an 8. That bidding will get all the way up to 70 silver. 7 gold. Before the throne is taken off. And someone will grab a cart and begin to make off with this large silver throne. Next are the 2 statues. These large animalistic statues that seem to mirror the throne, the silver gilded style. With a 7, a 10, and a 19. We do a 1 and a 6.
2.
Alright, you have to beat 6. You want these statues.
They are merely statues, correct?
They're like totems, if you will, of some form of
Totems.
animal. They are silver, and they match the throne that was just taken out.
Okay. Well, I will go 7 and see how this plays.
8,
16.
17,
20.
21,
42.
43, very hesitantly.
45.
At almost the last second of call, they will jump to 46.
50.
They gave it to you.
That is 5 silver.
Statues, they are about 4 feet tall and about a foot in diameter apiece. They appear to be of an animal. Not quite sure if it's some sort of dog or cat or something in between, but something out of like metagaming here, some Egyptian god culture style.
Works for me.
And with that, that is all the interesting things in the pile, and the hoard, what all the treasure that has been dumped in and is left will go out between the 3 of 11, 6, and 7, actually.
Sweet.
Roll me a 1d100.
Right, you have to choose something that I don't have an actual dice for.
Yes. Or I can do it if you'd rather.
48. Oh wait, no, it's just a percentile. I could have done that.
That is a total of 48 gold to add to your pile. Add to you.
Excellent. Good thing I have a calculator here because I'm a little tired to do math.
Everyone begins to disperse, and you are left with your winnings and how to get this treasure out of here. Everyone will begin to disperse. A few guards will come up to you as well as the auctioneer and see to you and the other winners of how you're splitting this and how you're going to get rid of it and what they need to do to help.
I just need to borrow a cart and wheel it over to somewhere.
Alright, they will easily load up a cart.
All right.
Token's sake, you now have a cart of gold.
Sweet.
Rahur. You have the bow, you have the statues, and the egg. Put the egg on the cart.
And the chest.
And the chest. Bow. At this point, a lot of people are kind of idling by. They haven't gone too far, but they're asking a lot of the winners about their items and whatnot, admiring. A few people are kind of bringing the auctioneer to the side, asking about where these came from and who got these and what these do and all that. At this point, you would have any opportunity to ask about your winnings with the auctioneer, who would have any more knowledge than perceived by the crowd.
My biggest question is the egg.
Okay.
Just where was it, and does anyone have any idea from what creature it may have come from, if it is
Uh,
not simply decorative?
do you ask this to the auctioneer?
Yes.
He will pull out. He will search about 3 or 4 like scrap parchments and a scroll about his person, and he'll actively looks like he finds the right one. And he will inform you that this multicolored egg is of unknown origin, but was found with 3 others in a far-off tower towards the west amidst several collections of various creature bones.
Okay.
He reads it over again, trying to see if there's anything else. He informs you the only thing is that it is an unknown egg. There were bones of several different creatures. The other 3 eggs were taken by the other adventurers that were with the party that procured this egg. Now that one I can use correctly.
Yes. You said far west?
Yes, to the far west. He will read it over and quickly pull out a map. He will pull out a hand-drawn map you recognize of the realm of Liftir. And he will point over just above the Bandashaz Mountains to the ruins of the Tree Grove Tower, an old tower that is completely wrapped by trees. It used to be a druid, kind of like a druid homeland, but was abandoned long ago.
I know a druid. I need to ask him a question. Back into character. Okay. And the beast statues are just statues. They came with the. They look like they came with the throne.
Yeah, they look like they match the throne.
So they are probably merely decorative. And the ornamental bow is just that, an ornamental bow.
Correct. It looks to be elvish in nature.
Okay. But things can be easily enchanted if I know the right stuff. Anyway, no, that's all the questions I've got.
Alright.
So, I am going to struggle to pull this back to my temporary base of operations in this town.
A couple of guards will easily help you cart this about. Token's sake, let's just assume you've got guards pulling this cart for you.
Right.
And they're waiting for your direction and to as of where and what.
Alright.
What do you do?
That would probably be one of the little shacks to the west.
Okay.
Had to zoom out, make sure I was going west. That's why I said probably. I'll take this one.
This would have been your little, or at least a close friend of yours, kind of little place for Elrik?
Yeah.
Alright.
Renting to own a little
Yes, I'll
base
go
of
with that.
operations.
And they will actively give you the cart and park it in your little hovel. At this point, you remember you have sidetracked from the beat night, and you were supposed to meet Cal at the bar.
Yes.
But with good winnings.
Oh yes, exceptionally lucrative side. The being sidetracked was exceptionally lucrative.
Essentially, since you got the entire pot.
Essentially.
Which were all
Plus,
legit rolls, by the way. I did not expect you to win that.
Very. I need to have a luck stat on here. That'd be maxed, I'm sure.
Alright. Please continue.
Alright,
Obviously, along your way, a few people have congratulated you on this.
Yes, before I leave the house, I want to make sure it is thoroughly locked up.
Oh yes, we'll say a friend or someone who would be watching this place that you do, in fact, trust would easily watch over this for you.
Excellent.
He looks over, admires your winnings a bit, expresses how he wish he could have got in on it, but he does pose concern with the egg and asks, does it need to be incubated or something?
I honestly don't know, but before I leave, can I try and start a small fire and place the egg next to it, just in case?
You can certainly do that.
I say you made a very valid point, and then I'll take a precaution for it.
He says, do you want to take it with you? As you would know, this person would be able to produce many a bag of holding.
Good idea.
Do you pocket the egg?
Yes.
Right. We'll assume that you have egg. Do you bring the bow as well? Or do you leave this for your treasure?
It's merely ornamental, and I have no arrows for it anyway, so...
Okay.
I'll leave it.
Alright, as you were.
I will have to forego a meeting with the Beat Knight to not keep Cal waiting any longer. Although he was the one who made me wait initially.
Well, last you checked, you were supposed to bring the Beat Knight with you. The Beat Knight was interested in this as well.
Oh, right. So I go up and check in on the Beat Knight.
Right, as soon as you get close enough to see this farmer who has just got these rows just finally tilled, the gigantic tree behind him is gone. And there stands the Beat Knight in a proud stance overlooking this freshly tilled land.
Oh, I get it.
The Beat Knight notices you and gives you a hearty wave just like the farmer did.
I give the Beat Knight a nonchalant wave.
Beat Knight will make his way around to meet you. Nice plot of land! I've got everything prepared! We're going to be making all these herbs, and I love a good garden. Don't you love a garden? As he's all friendly up next to you as per usual, nudging you and whatnot.
Actually, that's one thing you and I do have in common. A garden is a very lovely thing.
Come on, Beat Knight. Here we go. Yay, I figured out nameplates. Please tell me you can see the nameplates.
Sure. No, I can. I can see it.
Okay, good. Alright, give me 1 second.